with national defense justifies departing from free trade. We both agreed to this one. I'll take this one first. I don't love this answer. I just think it's like implied that all the logic that you're accepting, once you've accepted the sort of like minarchist logic of, well, we need national defense, it's in the same way that it spills over on this one. I don't love this one. I would still try to minimize it because I think markets work, free trade works, but it's like I can't be completely agnostic about my nation's military capacity. I can't be completely agnostic about my nation's ability to produce arms.
We shouldn't rely on China for our pharmaceuticals, right? If you need bombs and materials, those shouldn't be manufactured overseas. They should be made here, right?
Wait, that's pharmaceuticals, you said?
Yeah, we're very reliant on China for pharmaceuticals.
How does that relate to national defense?
Well, we need to, as a nation, collectively move our trade of pharmaceuticals away from China towards nations that are less hostile. Why are we buying pharmaceuticals from the same country that poisoned us with COVID-19? So I do think national defense justifies supporting free trade, and so did Adam Smith. If you read Wealth of Nations,
I'm just not following this argument because the classic argument to me is like, oh, well, we can't, like, there actually is a difference if my nation is full of knowledge workers versus has factories, because in a time of war, the factories can produce munitions, whereas my email jobs, so there's positive externalities from the perspective of the nation.
I do think that there are, I think modern exigencies. I think that the founding fathers could have never had to deal with, hypersonic missiles and nuclear weapons. And that since there are new threats, there are going to have to be new theories in order how to counter these threats. So I see the United States as, being overly reliant on technology and pharmaceuticals from people who clearly wish us ill will. And I don't know what sort of, I'm not saying that it has to have tariffs or things like that, but I like the fact that Donald Trump is working to bring manufacturing of microchips to the United States. We invented those things. We should absolutely be able to manufacture those things here. But we should obviously go after the taxes and the regulations and the unions that makes it more difficult to produce things here in the United States, and that should be our primary focus. But I do think it is a problem that we relied on when we needed ventilators, when we needed masks, when we needed pharmaceuticals, that we had to buy them from the same power that inflicted us with the disease. So I think that justifies departing from free trade. But otherwise, we should be doing what Donald Trump and Javier Milei are doing. Donald Trump has even said specifically he would drop all of the tariffs reciprocally if they would drop theirs. He was right. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could all have the same relationship that Javier Milei and Donald Trump has with other countries? But the fact is that those countries, they lay those trade policies on us. And they do currency manipulation. How many scams are coming out of China and Russia and Nigeria all the time? We're all paying for that, whether we like it or not. We're paying the cost of those scams in the form of higher fees at our banks for transactions and things like that. Additional security. Your banks are charging you higher fees because of those scams. So I mean, there are hidden costs to trade that maybe the Cato Institute isn't going to bring up when they talk about these things.
So we agreed on this one, but I think, your scope here is quite a bit broader than mine. If I were to give any considerations here, it would basically be along the argument. I'd potentially accept arguments about chips, AI, anything that's cutting edge, that's military related. The idea being that if there really is a difference to if the most powerful AI companies are in my nation and they produce $100 billion of revenue versus there's a makeup company or food or there's sports companies or entertainment companies and they're producing $100 billion in revenue. There really is a difference in my nation between those two things. The industry with military capacity has positive externalities to the benefits of my nation in terms of the defense of my nation. And so that's really the only consideration that I would potentially give here, because I do believe that one of the roles of government can potentially be to correct, externalities. But when it comes to the productions of other goods, where I can't see any plausible national defense claim, and even here I would want to be careful. I think the pros, I'm generally very pro free trade. I think the pros generally outweigh the cons. I think there is an infinite amount of labor that Americans can be doing, and we're all consumers. And so generally things being made in other countries that can be brought here, that's often very good for us.
Yeah,
so
no, I agree.
I want to have a very light
I agree,
touch if
but
I were to
and I think, like you said, it's important to be specific. But I mean, I do think that that the Chinese Communist government probably would use pharmaceuticals as like another way to introduce pathogens to the United States. I do think that COVID-19 may have been an actual attack on the United States specifically.
I'm a little bit. I suppose I'm a little bit more skeptical of some of these, but I don't know how much down the rabbit hole I want to go down on these. Do we want to bounce to the next topic?
Yeah, let's go.
No.
I want to get everybody tired.
I like this one. This one is teed up for you, Oz. I said we need to tee one up for Austin. So